What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, there wasn't anything major going on this past week in the news, so let's just get right on to your movie reviews. I did watch a couple of new releases here recently. The first one we're going to talk about, of course, is the movie that most people are talking about right now, especially on Twitter and YouTube, and that is the Black Widow movie that just came out by Disney Marvel. Apparently, they haven't learned their lesson, and it seems like they're not going to anytime soon. We all know the controversy with Scarlett Johansson, what she said, and it seems that they start out telling it's not for men, it's a super feminist movie, blah 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 blah. Nobody likes feminism that has an actual brain cell or common sense. I'm not going to go all in all what's wrong with feminism, but it's literally there to destroy family values and the family structure. It is a poison and a disease, and it is being eradicated slowly. But even those females that they have brainwashed are starting to realize what it's really all about. 90% of the world's problems can all stem back to feminism. So, not a good choice to start off with saying it's a feminist movie, because nobody likes feminism, period. Except for, of course, the feminists. They want power control, and they want to preach hate. I'm sorry if some guy treated you like dog shit. Women do it to guys too. That doesn't mean you have to go full on fucking psychotic on people and fucking hate on them. Let's hate all men now because this guy shit on me. There's some shitty guys. There's some shitty women too. Get over it. Move on. And stop teaching your kids to hate on men too because of it. It's stupid. Grow up. Anyways, the movie. Like I said, there's plenty of other people who's done reviews on this, and they go into details. I'm not going to go into details. There's just too many reviews on this one. I will tell you this. Number one, Taskmaster. His name is Tony Masters. He's from the Bronx, New York. I don't know what the fuck that was in the movie, but it sure the fuck wasn't Taskmaster. Change it into a female. Screw Disney and all the damn gender swapping and shit. Fuck that retarded shit. When you put politics in your movies or try to push agenda, it just doesn't work. You shouldn't do it. The other point I wanted to point out was the whole explosion thing. Several people have pointed that out. It was dumb. It shouldn't have been done in the movie. The other thing is, I understand that the whole point of the story was that they were supposed to be going after a bunch of female assassins. But there's only like one or two scenes, with Red Guardian in there doing some fighting. The rest of it's all women fighting women, throughout most of the entire movie. There is, we get the point that the main villain is a misogynist pig. You know, he likes to control women and blah, blah, blah. And then the women, you know, feminists have to use a spray to wake them up from the brainwashing and the mind control and get the fuck out of here with all that feminist crap. And then everyone was talking about the whole pheromone thing. You know, she couldn't attack him because of pheromones or some crap of her smell. You know, like she couldn't wear a mask or something when facing him. It's just, that was dumb too. This movie was really bad. I do not recommend it. Absolutely do not recommend this movie. 2 thumbs down on this movie. I like the Black Widow character, but this was a terrible movie. Terrible, terrible, terrible. One more thing about the Black Widow movie is that rendition of Smells Like Teen Spirit at the very beginning is absolutely god awful. God awful. They butchered that song. Period. Now the next one I saw was called The Tomorrow War. This stars Chris Pratt. I think it's done by Amazon, but anyway, apparently, you know, you have these people coming from the future and are grabbing people from the past to fight some type of alien race. They don't know where they came from. All they know is that they're losing. Well, here's the thing. If these are supposed to be these people's children from the future, and they're coming and grabbing their parents from the past, they're just helping them kill them even faster. Because how are they coming from the future if they're killing off their parents from the past by taking them to the future and getting them killed? Because instead of wanting soldiers, they want citizens to help fight, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. And then he just, you know, Chris Pratt's character just happens to run into his daughter, who's, you know, the one who finds a toxin to kill the aliens. You know, how convenient, right? And she describes to him a past that's not even happened. You know, he's all like, what are you talking about? That hasn't happened. You know, blah, blah, blah. So that didn't make any sense. And then he goes back. He takes the toxin with him. The nation won't help him. The government, whatever, president. So they go and do it themselves. Him and a couple other people. And his father. They find that there was a spaceship that crashed in the ice in Russia. They dig underneath the ice. They find the spaceship. They find the fucking, you know, the aliens, which are actually cocoon engineered bio aliens or some shit that another alien race uses to wipe out a planet before they go and take it over. So they wipe out all the eggs and the aliens in the ship. Of course, a couple of them have to die to do it. And then the female, because they're like a colony of bees or whatever, or ants, you know, they got a queen. They got to kill the queen. You know, Chris Pratt and his dad, and then one other guy that survived. But now they know that there's another alien race that crash landed on Earth. Even though Earth was not their actual target or destination, supposedly. I don't know. I'm not real big in alien invasion movies. Only because they've done so many of them. And they just keep doing it. I don't know why. They can't do, you know, aliens in space anymore. It's always got to be on Earth. Probably because you know, it's cheaper to film here on Earth than it is to film or do CGI in space, doing space scenes. I understand all that, but still, it's, you know, do some more space adventures. Not fucking everything has to be on fucking planet Earth. Anyways, do I recommend this movie? It was okay. It wasn't bad for an alien invasion movie. You know, it had some decent action in it. Even the story was kind of screwed up. You know, would I recommend it? Sure. It's worth a one-time watch. 2 thumbs up. Go ahead, check it out. It's alright. It's not a bad sci-fi flick. Alright, let's move on to your B-movie reviews. Alright, movie holics. Moving on to your B-movie reviews. This is Sci-Fi Week. Now, the first one I'm going to do, it was actually suggested to me by a group on Twitter who does the Hollywood Horror Museum and the Sci-Fi World Museum. The first one is an Italian film. It was done by an Italian director who kind of got some help from an American studio to help him shoot the movie. You know, he co-opted with him, but it was still an Italian film. And you know the Italians, they're into some cheese. There's cheese and then there's Italian cheese. Although I think this movie goes way beyond cheese and Italian cheese. This movie was done in 1968. It made about $5.5 million at the box office, which wasn't all that bad for back then. The name of the movie was called Barbarella. It starred Jane Fonda, Anita Paquin, John Lowe, and Malo O'Shea. The story is basically the president of Earth asks Barbarella, because apparently there aren't really any like galactic rangers or cops in the future, you know. There's not supposed to be any weapons. Everyone, all the species, known species in the universe have been pacified so that they don't use weapons, supposedly. But the movie contradicts this quite a bit. But anyway, the president asked Barbarella to go find a scientist who was working on some kind of death ray as a weapon. It was actually supposed to be a helpful medical ray, but he turned it into a weapon. And supposedly he disappeared on this planet, so he asked Barbarella to go find him. Because apparently she's the only agent he can get in touch with right now. And that's pretty much the plot of the movie. She goes to this planet to find this scientist who ends up being a mad scientist and then ends up killing him and the ray and saves the planet, and that's the end of the movie. So that's basically your story. Now there is a lot in this movie that I want to talk about that's really just bizarre. Some people like this movie, include Hollywood Horror Museum. I'm sorry I'm about to tear it apart, but bad choice. It's kind of like a psychedelic movie. You know, it's late 60s. You have all the love and peace and war, or not war shit going on. So it's very artsy. at the very beginning, she has to undress, and become naked, come out of her, take off her astronaut suit or space suit, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of sexual jokes in this movie. It's a sexploitation film, so be prepared for that. Anyway, she takes off their spacesuit right off the bat in 0-degree gravity. It's made out of, bubble wrap. The helmet is a fish bowl with water in it, and it drains really, really slow. It takes like 5 minutes for this thing to drain just to show her face, which she's not even wearing the helmet. They superimpose her face on the back side of the fish bowl. And so she's got this weird statue inside. The inside of the spaceship looks weird. It's got all that fucking stupid ass shag carpet, and it's brown. What was with the colors in the 70s? Browns, tans, lime green or pea green. Just ugh. Anyways, it's from ceiling to floor. It's got the brown shag carpet and the whole fucking interior of the spaceship, which is dumb. I hate shag carpet. Anyways, it looks like wet fur, is what it looked like. You have this one weird statue with like this moon, quarter moon on it. It extends out and turns into a video phone or monitor or whatever. The president's wearing this Hawk Man suit because it's got like black frill all over it with like this weird design on his chest. And they're greeting, like how they used to do Indians. They'd go how or whatever, hold up their hand, go how to say hello. Well, in this, they go love. I mean, come on, that was just dumb. Now, I already said that supposedly there's not supposed to be any more weapons, but then when he sends her on her mission, he starts giving her weapons. Like, really? And then when she's on the planet, everybody's got fucking weapons. Again, like, really? Now, when she crash lands, you get to see the outside of the ship, and I shit you not, it is super hot pink. Hot pink. I'm not kidding. Ridiculous. She first runs across, she lands on like this ice planet. She first runs across these two little girls, and they capture her because she's not got any weapons on her at the time. They capture her, give her some skis, and they ski across the fucking ice by this weird ass creature dragging them across the ice. Looks like a bat. Anyways, they take her to this ship. These dolls, they wind them up like little toys, and they just click clack with little metal teeth in her after they tie her up, and they let them attack her. And I'm like, that's the dumbest thing. When you see the dolls, you'll understand what I'm saying. They're just dumb. Then the catcher shows up. This guy, he calls himself the catcher. He shows up. He says all the children live in the forest on the planet. And he catches them, rounds them up when they're, I don't know, kind of like of age or some shit. When they're useful, he said. And then he takes them to this city that's basically Sin City. The Queen Tyrant, she controls this city, and they do all kind of sinful shit in it. It's evil, basically. There's a lake, they call it some type of evil substance. It's literally lava lamps. You can see it's lava lamps. It's so dumb. Anyways, for saving her life, he asks for a favor, and this happens several times in the movie. His favor is to sleep with her, and she gives it up. Now, apparently in the future, they take these pills that, I don't know, puts them on some kind of weird psychonetic trip or some shit, like they're having sex or something. They don't do it the old-fashioned way, as they call it, but he wants it the old-fashioned way. And after she has sex with him the old-fashioned way, now that's the way she wants it all the time. And every time some guy asks her, you know, hey, as payment, I want to have sex with you, she gives it up, which is really bad, but it's terrible. And the catcher, he's already wearing this really furry suit. When he takes off his suit, he's full of hair. He's hairy as fuck. Anyway, she gets to the city by going through the rock, like through the middle of the planet or some shit. Pops out the other side. She meets this blind angel guy who looks like an angel. He calls himself something else. He's not an angel, but everyone's calling him an angel. And then they're in a place like they call the labyrinth, which is like purgatory or some shit. Everybody, you know, it's got cobwebs and it's frozen to the wall. Half of them are frozen to the rock wall. It's weird. She thinks he could get her into the city because the spaceship crashed again, going through the rock, by flying her there, because he's got wings. He's blind as well, but whatever, he can fly her there. Now, he's going to fly her into the city, but the thing is at first, he doesn't want to fly. He just says he's lost the will to fly. So, what does she do? He lives in this bird nest, supposedly. Yeah, I'm not kidding you not. It's a giant bird nest. And she has sex with him. Next thing you know, he's gained the will to fly again. But he still can't see. She's not that powerful. Anyways. Jeez. I told you the sex jokes in this is really bad. And she gets around. Anyways. He decides to fly her to the city with her guiding him. She pulls out a laser pistol and shoots down all the flying Century spaceships. They make it to the city, where the lake is, or the city surrounded by a lava lamp lake, because that's literally what it looks like. The city, they're doing all sinful kind of acts, having sex, doing drugs, gambling, all that kind of bullshit. The evil scientist, he locks her up and puts her in to torture her, puts her in the bird cage, is what he calls it. It's just a little dome that they spit parrots at her, and they're supposedly attacking her. The leader of the Revolutionary Army gets her out of there, and then he has sex with the pill. They got this pill that, that's how they're supposed to have sex in the future. It's supposed to give them super eroticism or some shit. Anyways, she has sex with him that way. Another guy, and then he gives her, he tells her the only way to stop the evil tyrant is to get inside her bedchamber, which is surrounded by an invisible wall that you need an invisible key to. No, I'm not kidding. So they give her an invisible key. She has to feel around for the invisible hole. Finds how to unlock it. Then the mad scientist shows up and takes not only her key, but the key that was inside the bedchamber. So traps her in there with the evil tyrant because he plans on taking over the planet. He starts killing people with his death ray because the Revolutionary Army is attacking the city. But before that, there's a scene I have to explain where he's playing, he calls it the sex organ. It's a torture device where she's laying down in like this bed thing or whatever, and it's got leather flaps that go all the way to her neck, and they're just like waves. They're running over like a wave, and he's pushing all these colored keys, and she's like sweating to death and breaks the machine. And he's like, it usually kills him, blah, blah, blah. But you seem to want it more than most people, you know. I was just crazy. This is just dumb, stupid sexual joke. But anyways, the evil tyrant and her get away because the angel, he's there and he helps them escape by grabbing them and flying them out of there. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. You know, the evil tyrant pushed some button in her bedchamber and blew up the entire city, along with the death ray and the evil scientist. Cue the lava lamps and roll the credits. You know, this movie, do I recommend this movie? Not unless you are a super hardcore sci-fi fan and you can stand fucking Italian cheese. Yeah, I mean, he goes way beyond cheesy. Way beyond. This movie, there's movies that are so stupid, they're dumb and funny. But this movie was just flat out dumb. It was dumb. I do not understand how this became a cult classic, because I understand they're trying to be funny, but it wasn't funny. It was just dumb. And this woman went through so many outfit changes. I've never seen a woman go through that many outfits in a fucking movie. Oh my gosh. Every time you turn around, she's wearing a different outfit. And there were only a couple of them that were actually not so bad, but the rest of them were just, oh my god, awful. Especially the furry skunk suit. Oh my god. Give me a break. It was terrible. Like I said, unless you're a super hardcore sci-fi B movie fan and you like super Italian cheese, you know, I give it 2 thumbs down. I did not like this movie at all. I do not recommend it. The acting was all right. Okay, you had some decent acting in it. Honestly, they did pretty good. I give it a solid 3. But everything else gets a -2. The rest of it was just terrible. Everything was terrible. Now, the next movie that I watched was called Welcome to Blood City. It was done in 1977, and it made about $900,000 at the box office. Now, this starred Jack Palance, Keir Dullea, Samantha Eggar. It was a Canadian film, and it is basically, it's like a sci-fi western. A lot of them thought it kind of resembled Westworld, but I haven't ever seen Westworld, so I don't know. Anyways, you have a Western society that when arrivals first arrive into this Western, it's a virtual reality. They arrive into this Western reality, and first or newcomers are given to citizens as slaves They work off their slave ship, and then they become citizens, or it's kill or be killed. You kill a citizen, you take their place, you get their shit, you become a citizen. Now you can go up the ranks in citizenship. You know, like first come, first serve. The higher the rank, you get first served. Especially with slaves. Now Jack Palance plays the top guy. He's got 20 notches under his belt, supposedly. And basically, if you want to be top dog, you got to take him out. But most of them know better. Now, they're in a virtual reality simulator and they don't realize it. Their memories have been wiped. There's a totalitarian government that's trying to find people who would make good leaders or assassins, killers, or whatever for a war that's coming or a war that's already going on. I'm not sure which. One of the scientists, she kind of gets infatuated with the main guy, the main blonde guy, and she enters in the virtual world, kind of trying to strike up a romance with him, but he likes the other girl that entered with him, so she kills her off, and then she tries to kill him off too through the machine. They sometimes kill them off in the machine if they don't think they're good enough or they wouldn't make good recruits. But her boss, the director of the project, wants to use him. So he pulls him out. When he does, the guy sees all the people that have died since he's been in the virtual reality machine. And he goes back into the virtual reality machine at the very end of the movie, because all the people that supposedly died in the virtual reality machine, they're all whack jobs now. They're patients, mental patients. They've gone mental. So he goes back into the virtual reality machine. They're disappointed, and that's pretty much the end of the movie. Now, at the very first, you really don't get enough of what's going on, because you just see some soldiers and a lot of people yelling, and you see him in a car, and then the next scene, he's in the desert waking up with everybody else, and they don't know what's going on. But it is a strange movie. It's okay. I got what was going on, but I'm really not into westerns, and it was more of a western than it was a sci-fi. It was alright. It's okay for a one-time watch. I give it a thumb up and thumb down. Check it out if you want to. Again, you have to be a hardcore sci-fi fan probably to like the movie. And you have to probably like westerns. I could probably count the number of westerns I like on my one hand. So, I'm just not a western fan at all. Anyways, the acting was pretty good. I give it a solid 3. Special effects, there really wasn't anything in it that would be considered special effects. I give it a 2 for what they did. It was pretty cheap. Like I said, it was more a western. Let's see. The story, yeah, it's actually been done before. It wasn't a very good story, so I give it a 2. It wasn't really that great of a story. Other than that, overall the movie, I'm -3. It was okay to watch, but it wasn't really all that great. Anyways, that's it. That's all I have for you this week. If you have anything to say about what I talked about earlier in this video, please leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. If you can think of any movies or underrated movies or whatever that you think I might not have seen or might not know about, please leave your suggestions down in the comments down below, and I will get around to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth. and you just been told.